Alright, so you'll notice that the next assignment that you're going to be doing is called the Factorial Design Figure. And this is an actual figure that you're going to create and put right into your paper. And figure is just basically another way of saying an image or a picture or some type of thing that you're going to put into your paper that visually describes some element of your study. In this case, it's really kind of a roadmap to how you designed the messages. So we're going to go step by step. The first step is you have to decide what your factors are. And in the last module, you already did that. So you should be able to just plug those two factors in that you already decided upon and go from there. So let's say that my two factors are linguistic agency and source credibility. I'm going to put one at the very top. As you can see, I've done that right here so that you have two columns going down from that first factor. And then your second factor, which in my case is source credibility, I'm going to put on the side so that it has two rows corresponding with it. Once you've decided and established what your factors are, you're going to now decide how you're going to manipulate those. And once again, hopefully you've already done this, and so you can just plug things in, and hopefully this assignment doesn't take you too long at all. So since my first factor is linguistic agency, I have to decide how I'm going to manipulate that. And let's say I decide threat agency and human agency are the two types of messages that I want to create. So as you can see in column 1, I have threat agency, and in column 2 I have human agency. And each of those boxes is going to correspond to either one or the other, threat agency or human agency. Then of course step 3, you're going to do the same thing, but this time for factor 2. So for source credibility, I have to decide what two types of messages do I want to create using source credibility as the factor. Makes a lot of sense to just do high credibility and low credibility. So you can see the top row corresponds with low credibility, and the bottom row corresponds with high source credibility. And then your final step is you're going to decide how each of these manipulations is going to impact each message. So each of these boxes now is going to represent one version of the message that you're going to create. So if I'm creating a message trying to get people to get the flu shot, I'm going to have 4 different versions of that, and each message is going to represent 2 of the manipulations. So you can see my first message is threat agency and low credibility. You can see I just simply pulled threat agency down from my linguistic agency factor, and I pulled low credibility over from my source credibility factor. So message 1 is going to have a combination of those 2 manipulations. Then I just do the same thing for message 2. Again, I'm pulling down human agency and I'm pulling over low credibility. Message 3, the same thing, it's human agency and high credibility. And then finally with message 4, I have threat agency and high credibility. So now I have 4 distinct different types of messages based off of 2 factors. So your final figure that you're actually going to plug into your paper, and this will be in the method section, is going to look something like this. Now, it'll probably look a little more basic, and there's an example when I get to the assignment. You'll be able to see the file that shows you exactly how yours should look, of course with your own factors and manipulations, but it's going to be very simple, and it's just basically serving as a roadmap for anybody reading your study, that they can say, okay, this is people who read message 1, the different conditions that they were reading the message under, and so on and so forth.